in 1953, this is about 1953, we bought our first boat. And it was at Swales, right there adjacent to the bridge, the old bridge. And we were a very, very serious boating family.
Life on the water, but I was always just a hobby. That's how.
Well, yeah, because you have to work.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, just waste.
He found it very, as I said, very difficult to start a practice down here. This was May. There was not enough people. It was a beach town.
Yeah.
All the houses on Balboa Island were little single-wall construction, 2-bedroom, 1-bath beach houses. People they liked being in LA at that time. It was a beach town, So it was challenging for them. And from the time I was 4 until the time I was 18 and went off to war, we lived 4 days a week in Arcadia and 3 days a week in Newport, and then vice versa.
So I guess this routine is interrupted in the mid to late 60s by your going off to war.
Yeah, a little thing called the Marine Corps.
Enlisted.
I actually enlisted. I was one of those, I facetiously say, dumb shits that enlisted. I wasn't drafted, I enlisted. And I don't think I thought through very clearly because we were in the middle of a rather interesting war. But nonetheless, I went through what Gibbs and NCIS would call, I'm a Hollywood Marine. I went through MCRD in San Diego. And then I went through Camp Pendleton for what we called Staging Battalion, which was basically a month living in the bush, preparing you for combat. You're in combat, you're in the jungle. We ran patrols every single day. I think I had, the only time I had a shower was when I was in the hospital ship and I almost died of malaria. So you're in the bush, you're eating sea rats, you're taking your malaria pills, you have your thermos, you're carrying probably 90 pounds of gear on your back because your whole world lives on your back between ammunition and claymore mines, hand grenades, et cetera, et cetera. But we were on patrols every day, ambushes every night. I was there almost 9 months before I got hit. So I was an 0311. I was a trained killer. I don't know the exact number. I know for sure I had 1 KIA because I took the AK-7 round out of his AK-47 weapon. I know I had several KIAs, but I know for a fact I had 1 KIA, which I'm not proud of, but it is that's what we do in war. That's why they send us there.
And absolutely to your credit, you left paradise voluntarily.
Well, a little bit naive. But I also realized that I had some serious problems in my life. I almost flunked out of college. I quit before I flunked out of college the first time. And I saw these Marines, and I saw them say, yes, sir, no, sir. And I saw their shiny brasso belt buckles and their creased trousers and their shiny shoes. And, in Marine Corps parlance, they were squared away. And I said, I think I need that in my life. They finally gave me what was probably considered today sort of like a chemo. The good news is it saved my life. Bad news, they didn't know it caused deafness. I have hearing aids and have a little box around my neck, and I'm almost totally deaf from Vietnam. The reason I have this lovely piece of equipment, 2008, I was diagnosed with a peripheral neuropathy, which was a result of Agent Orange in combat. All the jungles were sprayed with Agent Orange. We were, knee deep in Agent Orange for, almost 9 months. So,
forgive me if this sounds trite. Knowing what you know today, how your life unfolded, would you have volunteered again?
Yeah, I would. You make me cry. You can't take the Marine out of the Marine. I mean, I can't watch the Rose Bowl parade or whatever without crying. I mean, we were there for Motherhood Apple Pie Chevrolet, but I mean, we were trying to, keep this place like it is, They say the nicest thing you could say to a Vietnam veteran is welcome home. Because we never heard that. That's something that was just not the vocabulary of the American public at that time. And I went on, before I graduated, I had the term double escrow. I had double escrowed, I think, about 4 houses by the time I graduated from SC. And I probably am the only graduate student in the history of SC that graduated driving a Rolls Royce. I paid cash for it out of my real estate money. When I came back, 138 pounds when I came back from Vietnam, from carrying all that weight and so moving what we call 4 clicks, 4,000 meters a day on average of patrols. You know, and one of those haircuts, you know, scared to death in college where just frightened to death. So it was a journey, you know, from combat to now being scared to death to, you know, exploring the world, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's been a journey my entire life. Anyway, bottom line is I found real estate I enjoyed. So about 6 months after graduation, I told my dad, I said, don't sell the practice. I could very well be back with my tail between my legs. And that was 1977, and I've never looked back. Come 1984, I had 2 runners. I was working 6 days a week. And I decided that I was working very, very hard, making good money, but I really wanted to switch over to commercial real estate. So I was doing my office leasing. But to me, I was used to controlling a deal. I won't say I'm a control freak, but I'm a control freak. I just said it, I guess. And when I was dealing with tenants, you're dealing with this guy here, but you realize there's a puppeteer somewhere. And he's going like this, and your guy's going like this, and this guy says he wants the deal, and this guy says no, and he says, hey, sorry, all bets are off. And you have no control. You're at the wrong level. So I said, you know, this is kind of, I don't like this. So I decided to branch out, and I started selling hotel land. And then I morphed to existing hotels. And then the RTC debacle came along, and I was selling in a distressed hotel every 18 days for 6 years. I worked a 12-and-a-half-hour day for 20 years. Without exaggeration, Pete, I was at my desk at 5 a.m. every day for 20 years, Monday through Friday. And then my life took another turn, and this is now 2004, and my ex-wife was diagnosed with cancer. And, you know, I'm still a human being and all that stuff. And I felt, you know, I'll take care of her. So I leased out my place in the Bay, and I moved up to Napa. She had a beautiful home she built in the country on about 3 acres in Yountville. And I said, well, this will be 6 months. Well, it was 6 years. You know, it's just cancer is what it is.
You're a Renaissance man also. So this metal,
yeah.
this is your chef.
Oh, that is the concrete of the Chêne de Rôtissier. The Chêne is the oldest gourmet society in the world.